Fire hell at Starbase, but why? Booster 15 was rolled back to the production site after a successful static fire campaign. Ship 34 delivered an amazing spectacle, keeping its engines on for an epic 60 seconds on its static fire. Could Flight 8 actually happen this month? Vast have released very incredible new updates. My name is Stefanie, welcome to What About It? Let's dive right in. Booster 15 has completed its static fire campaign and is back at the production site. After a successful engine test, the booster was swiftly rolled back to the production site, a sign of efficiency we've come to expect from Starbase operations. And they keep delivering. There was even a twist here. During the test, Booster 15's Raptor engines roared to life, verifying performance metrics before the next critical phase. Unlike previous test campaigns that saw multiple firings, this one was quick and decisive, which suggested confidence in the hardware. The rollback itself was smooth. It allowed us to take a good look. There are no visible signs of damage or anomalies, further reinforcing that SpaceX is sticking to a tight turnaround schedule. With Booster 15 now staged back at the production site, the next steps likely include minor refurbishments and integration checks before it returns to the launch pad for stacking with Ship 34. Given the urgency of keeping Starship's development on track, SpaceX isn't wasting any time. Flight 8 could be closer than we think. Now, all eyes turn to Ship 34. After its epic 60-second static fire, there are some concerns about potential hardware issues. But if past campaigns are any indication, SpaceX has a history of troubleshooting fast. If all goes to plan, stacking could happen within days, setting the stage for Flight 8's debut in March. Ship 34's static fire test at Massive was supposed to be a routine full-duration burn, a final confirmation that this vehicle is ready for Flight 8. It turned out to be the longest static fire we have seen so far, and instead of a clean controlled shutdown, the test ended with a bang, literally. But wait, it might not be as bad as it may sound. For 60 full seconds, the Raptor engines roared smoothly, pushing Ship 34 through one of its final hurdles before stacking. Different engine settings and gimbal modes were tested, but in the last moments of the burn, we heard multiple loud booms and saw the fire flashing brighter, followed by an abrupt engine cutoff. Everything okay there, Ship 34? Are you okay? Now, before we jump to conclusions, let's break this down. From SpaceX's own on-site footage, there didn't appear to be any damage to the ship. Was there damage to the flame trench? Maybe a popped gas line? Our aerial shots don't seem to show anything of that kind. We will have to wait and see how quickly SpaceX resumes testing at Massive. So, what does it mean for Flight 8? Here is what we know. Booster 15 already completed its static fire test successfully and has since rolled back to the production site. No major issues, no unexpected delays. Now, everything hinges on Ship 34. But if this wasn't just a noisy shutdown, it raises real concerns about Ship 34's engine health and whether it sustained any damage. If the Raptors or the ship itself took any hits, SpaceX has two options. Assess and repair Ship 34, replacing any Raptors if necessary, or pull Ship 34 into the lineup as replacement, which would mean additional testing and an automatic delay. Neither option is ideal, but ship swap would set Flight 8 back even further. And with FAA approval still pending, there's already a lot of uncertainty around the timeline. That said, let's take a step back. We've seen this kind of drama before and it rarely ends in disaster. Remember SN8's static fire mishap? That vehicle lost an engine and had to be retested, but SpaceX had the Raptor swapped and the ship was ready to go in days. Same thing with Booster 7. After a massive overpressure event, they still turned it around for flight. SpaceX works fast, and what looks like a showstopper often turns out to be just another Tuesday at Starbase. After all, that is what testing is for. And out here at Starbase, they do not mind breaking things in the process. Actually, I think they love it. So what's next? SpaceX will need to inspect Ship 34's engine section closely, looking for any signs of damage during the test. They did mention that during the test, all 6 Raptor engines were fired at differing levels of thrust to recreate different propulsion scenarios during the flight. If any Raptors need to be swapped, that's at least a few extra days. If there's deeper damage, that could be a much bigger problem. And if this was a serious issue, it could force a full reassessment of Ship 34's flight readiness. But the worst case would be flaw in the Block 2 Starship design. This could seriously derail the plans. With Booster 15 already cleared, SpaceX will want to move fast to confirm Ship 34 is still good to go, and we need to remember, when has a little chaos ever stopped SpaceX before? At Starbase, we are witnessing the end of Ship 32, one of SpaceX's most advanced Starship prototypes, without it ever making it to the launch pad. Instead, it's being dismantled and scrapped inside and in front of the high bay, marking another piece of Starship history that won't get its moment in orbit. But why? Ship 32 was originally built as a fully flight-worthy prototype, the final Block 1 Starship architecture. It featured multiple design improvements, including new thermal protection tiles and structural modifications. However, it was never assigned to a launch campaign. Instead, its primary role was ground testing and checkout procedures to validate design changes before Ship 33, the first Block 2, took its place at the next Starship to fly. Ship 32 spent months at the production site going through extensive fit checks, transport rehearsals and structural inspections, all crucial steps for refining SpaceX's rapidly evolving Starship manufacturing process. However, it never made it to full cryogenic testing or static fires, signaling that SpaceX had no plans to send it to the launch site. Poor ship. Starship's design has evolved faster than ever, and by the time Ship 32 was ready, newer builds incorporated key refinements. Rather than launching an outdated prototype, SpaceX opted to focus on the latest and best versions. The data SpaceX needed from Ship 32 was already gathered without launching it. Since it served its purpose on the ground, there was no need to spend additional time and resources prepping it for a flight that was already assigned to Ship 33. With new ships rolling out at an unprecedented pace, floor spaces inside Starbase's production facilities is in high demand. Dismantling Ship 32 frees up space for newer prototypes that better align with SpaceX's long-term goals. This isn't the first time that SpaceX has scrapped a fully built Starship. Ship 25 met a similar fate after Flight 2. With Ship 34 and Booster 15 now in line for Flight 8, SpaceX is moving fast, constantly improving and eliminating anything that doesn't contribute directly to the next major milestone. It's a reminder that in the Starship program, if something isn't cutting edge, it's already obsolete. Bye. It is noteworthy though that while S-32 was cut up into neat segments rather quickly, now its parts are just sitting by the high bay. What is SpaceX waiting for here? Could it be that this last Block 1 prototype will not unceremoniously vanish into nothing, but eventually be transported away to be displayed in a museum? What do you think? Would you like to see one displayed? It would be a worthy addition to, let's say, the Smithsonian. Tell the Smithsonian in the comments, I'll let them know. Speaking of other production site updates, the mural on the side of the big parking garage continues to undergo replacement with just plain panels. A sad sight to see and room for more speculation. What will we see in the near future? Will they bring the mural back? Or maybe an all-new design to inspire both workers and the public? Before we start poking around with chopstick simulators, our channel metrics show over 4 million returning monthly viewers who have not subscribed yet. I'm talking to you. Help improve the channel and double check that you've hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our updates. It's free and it helps us bring you even better content, like this video. If you appreciate the content and become a wise supporter for extra content, secure your access to up to 7 picture galleries per week, satellite, aerial and ground photos, 3D animations, chat with us and gain more insights on the topic you love. Do you feel like doing something crazy? Check out redline.com/Felix for a once-in-a-lifetime experience and $25 off flying in a helicopter above Starbase. The Redline helicopter team is waiting for you. They'll show you the same views our photographers get on their Starbase flights. Now it's time to leave the production site and head over to the busiest part of Starbase at the moment, the ever-evolving launch site. SpaceX is making rapid progress at Pad B, with major milestones unfolding this week. One is a now completed reeving of the drawworks, which involves the weaving of cables through the chopsticks so Mechazilla can actually catch the falling booster. The other is the installation of actuators on the chopsticks. These actuators are critical components that will allow the chopsticks to move with precision, eventually enabling them to lift, stack and potentially catch Starship and Super Heavy. Over the past few days, crews have been securing the actuators into place, fine-tuning the system that will bring Pad B's tower closer to full operational capability. While Pad A's chopsticks have already been used for stacking and catching tests, Pad B is being built with refinements and lessons learned from past launches. This could mean smoother, more efficient operations for future flights. Now that the actuators are in place, the next steps will be powering up the system, running initial movement tests and eventually getting the hardware ready for fully integrated stacking. With everyday addition to Pad B, SpaceX is laying the groundwork for a second fully operational Starship launch site. The question is whether this pad will surpass its predecessor in the most crucial aspect and enable true rapid reusability. Progress is not only visible on the tower, but also in the supporting infrastructure that is installed all around. Most prominently, the new tank farm and its intricate system of pumps and pipes. These connect the tanks to the tower and all the way around to the far side of the flame trench. Starting here, we can see that piping is being installed. There are many different tube types and diameters laid in already, supporting the idea of a quick disconnect system on the far side of the trench. Parts for the support structure needed are already stored right behind the trench, and Chrome Kiwi, thank you, has taken the liberty to give us a glimpse of how these should fit together. It's worth following him on X. So far, the utility trench still lacks the connection between the flame trench and the part of the trench that is already under construction. With so many vehicles still having to go around to the flame trench's construction site, this section will likely be dug out after the concrete pouring behind the tower is completed. Take a look at the other side of Tower B. We can see that one segment of the utility trench is already receiving its covering. This is good news for the water tanks waiting by the side of the road near the harbor. Their wait will soon be over. Their foundations were poured some time ago, and with the mounting blocks already secured, installation should be smooth and straightforward. Further down the line, the trench is continuously being extended. See this? What was just a hole in the ground last week is now visibly becoming a culvert. The first layer of concrete making up the floor has been poured and casting for the walls has been erected. It won't be long until we see pipes incoming here too. But even though the tank farm is growing rapidly and with visual progress every day, there's more missing than just tanks and pipes. We also need valves and pumps. While the first prefabricated valve modules have been mounted on their raised support structures, the pumping station's a long way from being finished. Right at the beginning of the utility trench, a brand new large concrete pad has been poured. This should ultimately become the base for the methane pump system. It is intriguing to see how this new tank farm is built on the experience SpaceX has gained from the operation and constant evolution of the first tank farm. This is also the case with all aspects around Pad B and its tower. We're moving away from the early prototypes in every aspect. With Starship reaching the Block 2 state and the Block 2 boosters soon to follow, the new launch pad could also be called a Block 2 version in its own right. Stage 0, Block 2 is here. Out here at Starbase, the future is built one busy day at a time. Let's move over to Massey's and the curious new tests performed out there. Last week, we took a look at the test tank 16.1 and noticed a few interesting developments. First, the tank has what we've dubbed toothpicks on it, and per the keen eye of our intrepid photographer Jordan, we've noticed the position of these has changed. This position change was made after a first squeeze test, but for this, test tank 16.1 was not put into Can Crusher 2.0 or any contraptions like it. It simply remained standing next to the giant cage. A hydraulic actuator connecting the two arms was used to press the toothpicks into place, proving that a test can sometimes be accomplished with simple methods instead of building the next metal giant. What could SpaceX be doing here? Are they testing another feature to deploy on future Block 2 boosters? SpaceX has critical goals to achieve with this test article if it wants to advance the ball down the field with booster cadences. One problem that has been observed before with super heavy boosters, once they're caught, is they wobble. Mechazilla perhaps should squeeze a little tighter? Could the close proximity of these toothpicks indicate that SpaceX is making refinements here in this very area? The last thing the OLM needs is a drop booster, especially if a Starship is potentially en route to the same area to be caught. Rapid reusability can always be improved. We've also managed to sneak a peek at another nose cone most eyeing about the cavernous halls of the Star Factory. Our sneaky photographer Jordan caught a cheeky glimpse of S-37's nose cone in the midst of the tiling process through the upper window of the Star Factory. Ooh. We've learned that this area is pretty ripe for new nose cone sightings and is a testament to how quickly SpaceX already has the Star Factory working. And it will only get faster from here. The difference between now and previous speed of iteration is vast. Vast Space has achieved a significant milestone in the development of its Haven 1 space station. On January 31st, 2025, the company successfully completed the primary structure qualification proof test, making a crucial step forward, launching the first operational commercial space station. The qualification test adhered to NASA standard 5001 guidelines and encompassed several critical evaluations. I know that because I read through all of them. The same guidelines the ISS has to uphold. A decay leak check commenced at 0.2 bar, which was successfully passed. Next up was a proof test. For this, the pressure vessel was pressurized to 1.8 bar. No leaks or visual changes were observed, and the pressure remained steady for 5 hours. With all measurements within specification, here comes the big one. The final step was the extended leak test, where the structure was maintained at 0.2 bar for 48 hours without additional nitrogen, even surpassing NASA's leak rate requirements. These successfully tests validate the structural integrity and readiness of Haven 1's primary structure, positioning Vast Space ahead in the race to establish the first operational commercial space station. And they've done something that very rarely happens in the space industry. They're quicker than planned. Yup, that does happen. Following the achievement, Vast has updated its project timeline. The company now plans to integrate all systems by the end of this year, with a targeted launch date for Haven 1 as soon as May 2026 aboard a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Haven 1 is designed to accommodate up to 4 individuals, including government and private sector astronauts as well as space tourists. The cylindrical module measures 10 meters in length and 4.4 meters in diameter, providing a habitable volume of 45 cubic meters. Positioned in orbit approximately 500 kilometers above Earth, the station features 1.10 meter windows, offering extensive views of our planet. Something that's sadly very rare in space. Those beautiful sci-fi views are often just that, sci-fi. Not though with Vast. This accomplishment underscores Vast Space's rapid progress in engineering, manufacturing, and testing space station systems, bringing the vision of a fully operational commercial space station closer to reality than ever before. We're very close! Now let's have a look at NASA. The organization is sending an entire pack of mini rovers to the moon. No, this isn't sci-fi, this is happening. As part of the Cooperative Autonomous Distributed Robotic Exploration, or CADRA project, 3 suitcase-sized rovers will soon be roaming the lunar surface without direct human control. So why does this matter? These mini rovers will work as a team to map, analyze, and navigate the moon's rugged terrain, proving that cooperative autonomous robots could be the future of deep space exploration. No joysticks, no live commands. The rovers will adapt and execute tasks on their own, just like how future Martian or lunar outposts will need to operate. Instead of one giant rover, NASA is testing a swarm approach that covers more ground and takes on more complex tasks than one single robot ever could. Each unit will be equipped with imaging and environmental sensors to scan the lunar surface and collect real-time data. The CADRA mission is hitching a ride aboard Intuitive Machines IM-3 lander, part of NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services (CLPS) program. The launch is set for early 2026, sending the robotic team to an area of high scientific interest. 2026 is honestly shaping to be pretty insane. The mission is the first real test of multi-rover autonomy beyond Earth. If successful, it could change how we explore the Moon, Mars, and beyond. We could turn robotic swarms into the backbone of planetary science and resource scouting. What do you think? Is NASA's vision for self-operating robotic explorers the key to long-term lunar exploration? What else could these swarms of robots do? That's it for today. Remember to smash the like button, subscribe for more. This is what fuels the algorithm. This is how you can help us for free. Check out our epic shirts in our favorite Space Nerd store. A new Raptor design and our brand new Starship Block 2 design are both up. Link is in the description and the card you should see now. Also, check out our print store at shop.whataboutit.space to buy a picture for your favorite wall. A significant amount of every purchase goes directly to our photographers. And if you want to learn more about the fascinating story of SpaceX's Raptor 3 engine, watch this video next to continue your journey. Thank you very much for watching, and Felix will see you again in the next episode. What is that? Ship 34. Precision. German precision. Enable true rapid reusable. Here I am.